News at 5 starts now.
Thank you for joining us on Fox 10 News at 5. An eventful week in the case of a missing mother. The boyfriend of Christina Mustafa was arrested this past week on suspicion of first-degree murder. Mustafa was reported missing 1 month ago, May 10th. On Thursday, the 37-year-old Robert Interval Jr. was taken into custody on murder. Meanwhile, her body has not yet been found, and a huge search has been underway earlier today as Mustafa's family and neighbors were out in the desert near Pinnacle Peak and Cave Creek roads. Marcy Jones has more.
If you can think about your nicest and most genuine friend, that's her.
For Megan Coble, when it comes to friends, it doesn't get any better than Christine Mustafa. That's why a month after the 34-year-old mother went missing, Megan says she continues to search for her good friend.
Soft-spoken, and I mean, she's the kind of person that would give her last dollar to a friend.
Thunderbird. Police saying
officials during
buzzing about former FBI Director James Comey's historic testimony before the Senate Intelligence Committee last Thursday. And now everybody's talking about an upcoming appearance by Attorney General Jeff Sessions before the committee this week. Fox News correspondent Garrett Tenney has more from Washington.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions is set to appear before
finally going to see a cool down. In fact, temperatures dropping back into the 90s. I'll tell you exactly when, coming up in just a couple minutes.
Fox 10. Your exclusive AccuWeather forecast with Christy Siefkin on Fox 10 News.
Hope you've enjoyed your weekend. Still warm out there, but actually pretty nice compared to some of the temps that we saw just a few days ago when we were hot, well above the seasonal normal. Right now, we are sitting below the triple-digit mark at Sky Harbor. These 90s, this is what we're going to see as we start the work week. A little bit breezy out there still as well as a cold front continues to push its way toward Arizona. In fact, breezes there right now about 17 miles an hour, even gustier in other places across the state. So you'll notice we do have moisture into the Pacific Northwest, into Northern California and Nevada. This is the circulating low that as it moves forward into Arizona, we're going to feel the effects, not in terms of rain, but in terms of much cooler temperatures out there. Let me show you what's going on. Not only do we have the low, but also this associated cold front as we get into Monday and Tuesday. It's going to move out of the Great Basin into Arizona, eventually into New Mexico, leaving behind the cooler air and dropping those temperatures well below where they ought to be. So a little bit of a roller coaster ride last week compared to what we're going to see the start of this week. And take a look at the gusts out there tonight, particularly across northern Arizona, where, as I mentioned earlier, we do have those red flag warnings in place. Take a look at these numbers, anywhere from gusts up to 37 miles an hour in Kingman, gusts up to 43 miles an hour in Flagstaff, also gusts in the 30s for Window Rock, Winslow. Southern Arizona, gusty conditions as well, perhaps not as high of gusts as northern Arizona, but still in the areas where the lizard fire is still very active. We have gusts that are 30 miles an hour there. In the valley, as you saw, we have upper teens, so breezy to very windy. In terms of the temps out there right now, we're quite warm across the lower desert still. 95 into Gila Bend. Casa Grande, still close to the century mark. 98 Safford. Into northern Arizona, a little bit cooler, of course. 77 in Prescott. 81 Window Rock and 85 for Kingman. Here in the valley, take a look at this. We're actually not seeing any triple digits on the map. That's certainly an improvement from what we saw last week. Actually actually already have seen some of the effects of this system approaching. We hit 101, 2 degrees below the average for today, which is 103 degrees. Back in 1918, that's when we set the record temperature for today, 114. Now that number will be back in our forecast, but not for the start of your work week. So we saw that moisture to the north of us, and we're seeing pretty quiet conditions with the middle of the country, but this won't be the case tomorrow. Severe thunderstorm activity. You'll notice just a little bit of it pushing across the Great Lakes region right now. Potential for more of that as a heat wave sets in across the middle and the eastern section of the country. Take a look at these numbers. They're going to get even warmer Tuesday, potentially record-breaking temperatures in many places. In fact, tomorrow we're looking at 90s for Dallas and for Houston. Omaha, close to 100 degrees all along the mid-Atlantic region and the eastern seaboard. Numbers in the 80s and in the 90s. So that high that was making our neck of the woods so hot, it's now headed eastward. Tonight, our lows will be pretty nice out there. 52 in Show Low, same for Prescott. We'll see 50. Well, there, same for Payson, close to 80 for Sedona. Flag, though, gorgeous, nice cool weather at 67, 80 for Window Rock. So tonight, looking at mostly clear conditions out there. We'll see plenty of sunshine, numbers well below average, 92, the expected high for tomorrow. So well below 103, where we typically are at this time. And as you look at the next several days, you'll notice we continue with cooler temperatures, at least for your Monday and for your Tuesday. 104 already, though, as we get into Wednesday. The start of monsoon looks like we'll be close to 110, and then very warm temperatures in the teens as we continue into the end of the week and the start of the weekend. Coming up next, 2 Valley doctors sound, and without any worry that it will damage your hearing. The headphones are molded specifically to your ear. Fox 10's Anita Roman has that story.
A custom molded earbud connected.
Most importantly, you might be saving your hearing. Anita Roman, Fox 10 News.
Each pair of headphones costs about $200, and you can order them online. We'll have a link to that on our website, fox10phoenix.com. Well, coming up after the break, we'll take a look at how the recent attack that killed 3 and the goal is to stand up for the rights of LGBTQ people, women, minorities, and immigrants. The event included a tribute to the victims of the deadly shooting at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando that happened a year ago. And back here in the Valley, another march is being held in just
filled with people for the Equality March and Rally for Unity. It's the first of its kind, taking place at Heritage Square in downtown Phoenix. Roughly 1,000 people are expected to go to the event, including Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton and Congressman Ruben Gallego, who are expected to speak tonight. We caught up with the organizer today, who says their whole lives lost in the Orlando Pulse nightclub mass shooting that happened a year ago tomorrow. Now the event goes from 7 to 9.
Well, in the war room, 3 U.S. Army Rangers were killed in an attack by an Afghani soldier yesterday. The Taliban is taking responsibility for the attack, bragging about infiltrating the Afghan army. And now the attack is complicating the U.S. joint mission that's in the region. Fox's Connor Powell. From service, many of them don't get the help that they need, but one local group is trying to change that. Today, people from the Veterans Association of Real Estate Agents, volunteers, and Planet Painting helped a local mom who served her country get some things done around the house.
The veteran who owns this home was actually approved and then denied for a free painting job last year. So when I heard about that, one of our members let us know about that, one of our volunteer members. When I heard about that, it really pissed me off, for lack of a better term. And I said, let's get our house painted.
This veteran is a single mom of 2 teenage boys and says she finally feels like she's not sinking. That's the
little bit is a big help.
Along with painting the exterior of the veteran's house, VA rep was also able to get her a free washer and time, like Michael Lewis, who's a veteran himself. Searching for a foster family for this very special dog. Kelly the Beagle is part of a program where her owner is serving overseas, but she needs the help of the Humane Society, and she's needed it for more than a year now. Fox 10's Stefania Coley is
Well, good evening, Christy. I met Kelly earlier this evening, and I have to tell you guys that she is adorable, a very, very friendly beagle. As you mentioned, she is part of this program that they have here at the Humane Society, a wonderful program. It's called Project Active Duty, meaning when a service member has to go serve overseas, they can bring their pet here to the Humane Society under the hopes that that pet will be able to get adopted. For the most part, most pets a part of this program have been adopted, but for Kelly, she's been here for more than a year. As you know, beagles, the kind of dog that like to follow their senses with their nose. She is house trained, she is leash trained as well, but she's just been a little bit more difficult to find a family.
Thank you, Stefania. Well, more about dogs here. How about dogs and bowling? Well, today in the Valley was the first annual Bark Bowl tournament. It took place thanks to the AZ Happy Tails. That's a nonprofit animal rescue group. They put together a bowling tournament to help out Valley dogs in need. That event started about distractions since the president took office, but now well, there've certainly been quite a few distractions since the president took office, but now Republicans have a lot of unfinished business that they'd like to tackle in their 2017 legislative agenda. As Fox's Ellison Barber reports, time may be running out to make those plans a reality.
Congress is trying to tackle
the third consecutive month in Venezuela's capital city of Caracas. In world news, protesters take to the streets for the third consecutive month in Venezuela's capital city of Caracas.
Fox News.
In world news, protesters take to the streets for the third consecutive month in Venezuela's capital city of Caracas.
Our coverage.
Thanksgiving.
Of opioids, but our deaths don't rise as dramatically as they do. Also hit a home run in the inning, 2-run shot. Then in the 8th, the Goldie Granny. Paul Goldschmidt with the grand slam. The D-backs roll 11-1.
But one part of the equation is we felt like
why rent to own when you can own your own? It's easy with Yes Money financing from Cons Home Plus. Just go to cons.com on your computer or mobile phone and you can be approved in minutes.
If you have been injured in a motor vehicle collision and it was not your fault, call Peterson Johnson today. We will find you a doctor who will wait for payment. We don't get paid unless we win. Our fee is not 33 1/3% or 30%. It is just 25%. Injured in a motor vehicle collision? Call today.
Peterson Johnson, 877-96-LEGAL.
Fox 10 News is back.
Hey, football season will be here before you know it. The Cardinals just wrapped.
He qualified.
There's something about hitting a good golf shot.
Chandler's Mason Anderson just graduated high school and just qualified for next week's U.S. Open.
There's really no way to describe it. It hasn't really hit me yet, I don't think.
Badger is on.